What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mike Robinson, and this is another episode of Let's Take a Walk. I hope everybody had a great week. I had a great week, and I'm so thankful that we made it through another week. Um, Tonight, we have a special guest on, all the guests are special, but this guest is extra special. She is a recording artist. She's a CEO and an overall successful businesswoman. Her name is Daphney Hilton. And for those of you who may not be familiar with her movement, I'm going to give her a second to kind of reintroduce herself and give a little clarity on her movement and her background and everything that she has going on. So with that being said, Miss Daphney, you have the floor.
Hey, y'all. My name is Daphney Hilton. And oh my goodness. So I have a movement. I didn't know I had a movement, but I do, I guess. So I am a singer. I'm a songwriter, you guys. Oh my goodness. Preacher's kid. I'm one half a CEO of my company, Blue My Music Consultants. We actually help a lot of indie artists and upcoming artists and people in the industry, not just artists, but music industry people. We find a need and we fill it. We help them. We do have a boot camp that we do 3 months to 6 months, your choice. I am from Miami, Florida. I've been in the ATL. Okay, my daughter is 23, so I've probably been in the ATL about 26 years now. But they just won't let me be great. They will not call me a Georgia Peach, so I'm 305 for life, baby. It is what it is. So, doing a whole lot. Working in a couple of movies, dibbling and dabbling in soundtracks for some indie movies. So, life has been good. So that's the movement. It's all about the Blue Mountain music, the Blue Wave. Daphney Hilton. I do have some new music that's coming out. We're actually finalizing the music as I speak. So I'm really excited about that. So thank you, Mike, for having me on your platform. I appreciate you. Really do.
No problem at all. It's actually my pleasure. I always consider it an honor when I am allowed to be a part of a person's journey. I love helping. I love shining a light on men and women who are impacting culture and community
Absolutely.
with their gifts and everything that they do, particularly when you talk about independent artists and the small business owners and things of that nature. Because I know that you guys don't always have the resources that some of your counterparts have who may have, a big company behind them or sponsorship or something of that nature pushing them out into the forefront. So I want to do my part to kind of push you up there too.
Absolutely. And it's very appreciative. We need more people in the industry like you. So
I appreciate that. I'll let them know. Thank you.
Please do on this platform.
Yes. So let's start from the beginning. When did you start singing?
I guess since I was in my mama's womb, I guess, my mom was a singer, an artist, independent label. She was on an independent label. My dad, same. My dad was an artist, quartet back in the day on independent label. They actually made Billboard. I found their stuff online. And my household is a household of singers. That's all I know. I was telling one of my friends the other day, I thought my life was normal, but listening to a lot of other people, my life wasn't normal because every weekend we were somewhere doing something in the industry, music industry, singing somewhere. And I grew up that way. I had a childhood life, but I did most of my weekends by the time I got 13, I was recording professionally with the choir in Miami, Florida called the Wayne Ingrams and the Ingram Gospel Singers. And I started with them, traveling with them. Then my oldest brother came on. Then my youngest brother came on. So the whole the whole household, every weekend, we had somewhere to go if we were going on the same event or we all had different venues to go sing. So that's been my life. And I've been singing ever since. I told God I didn't want to do it because I want to be a dancer. Um, but for some reason, I came on back to singing. Let me tell you what I think it is. I think because being around singing so much, you take it for granted.
Mm.
Take it for granted because that was my livelihood. That's all I knew. That was my lifestyle, and I wanted to dance. My mom put me in a couple of dance companies. You know, when you're little, you're so cute, she dancing. But all the while, I've always had that voice, and I just
Right.
didn't want to do it because I saw how busy and the grind and the this and the that. I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. I'm dancing, but God said, no, you're not. You're singing, so I'm singing.
Wow.
It is.
Wow. And I was gonna ask you, like, did you when did you feel like you were when did you feel like you were good enough? I hate to use that term, but when did you feel like you were good enough, for lack of better words, to be an artist on your own? I'm saying, like, was there ever a point? Did you always feel like that, or was there a point where you were like, you know what, I really feel like I want to do this on my own?
Um, I still don't feel like I'm good enough.
Mm.
I still don't. Let me tell you this. Well, a friend of mine told me because I always thought being an artist was huge. It was big. It's like, oh my God, that's almost unreachable. And I bumped into this guy. He was my minister of music at this church here in Atlanta. And he was like, Daphney, you can actually do this. I'm like, no, I can't. He was like, yes, you can. So when a lot of the big time artists would come in, they would call him for background singers, him to be the minister of music and call up some background singers. So I
Hmm.
started doing some background singing. And just here locally in Atlanta, maybe regionally, we'll travel and Miami, of course. And he told me, he said, Daphney, this what I wanted you to see this to see that you could do it. And I
Hmm.
was like, okay. So when I decided to do my first project, Grace Child, my brother, he said, Daphney, I got this guy, I want to work with you. I'm like, I don't think I want to do it. Long
Mm.
story short, the day I was supposed to go over to his house, my window would not let up. It was cold. And I called my brother. I said, oh, that's a sign. That's the Lord saying I'm supposed to be doing this. So he said, you better wrap up in a comforter and you better get yourself over there and talk to him. And I was like, no, this is a sign. He was like, get over there now. By the time I started driving, I said, okay, Lord, let me go. So by the time I'm driving to the guy's house, my window lit up. Time I drove into his yard.
Wow.
And that's how Grace Child, my first project, started. And I was like, okay, God, we in it now. We just in it. If you don't do this, we not doing it. Because
Right.
even to this
Right.
day, I don't feel like I'm good enough, but it doesn't really matter because when God takes over, it's going to do what it's purposed to do. And it
Right.
doesn't matter, you gotta, artists come a dime a dozen. Many are called, but few are chosen.
Right.
So you're chosen to a certain people. You're chosen to a certain area or region or demographics. And you just have to be okay with that and know that God is going to get the glory and he's going to put you before great men because that's what his word says.
Right.
So you just got to be comfortable with that because sometimes when I be hearing these other artists sing, I be like, oh Lord, Jesus, I gotta come sing about oh Lord. You be like, oh Lord. And then you pray and it's like, okay, God, we just
Right.
gonna do you because we can't do me because I can't do this.
Right. Right. I understand that.
Right.
And that's interesting that you said that because one of the questions I was going to ask you, it came to my mind recently, is do you hear what we hear? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it dangerous for an artist to actually hear what the people hear? Because, like, I think about, you think about your favorite artist, and you might say, oh, this person sounds amazing. His or her voice are amazing. That group's voice is outstanding. They're so powerful. They're so anointed or whatever. And it never would cross your mind that your favorite artist might think to themselves, man, I don't understand why Daphney likes me so much. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm all right, but she just seems to really be into my movement, my music, or my ministry.
Yeah.
Do you find it a challenge for yourself? Like, do you honestly hear what we hear?
I don't even like my voice, to be honest with you. I had a vocal injury. So, and yeah, as you get older, you learn how to you learn how to maneuver through
Hmm.
um your vocals. And the higher I get, the more raspier I get. And it's
Okay.
like, oh God. It was like, oh, I just love the rasp. I love it. I love it. And I'm sitting here like, oh Lord, fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Jesus. But but like I'm gonna say this, God can make a donkey, speak to
Right.
minister. So it doesn't really matter. To me, I'm getting to a point now is this is God, this is what you have for me, and this is what we're gonna work with. And as long as the people are blessed, I'm okay with that. Somebody need to be saying, oh my God, you inspire me. Oh my God, what must I do to get the power of God? What must I do to come to Christ? I'm encouraged. That's all that matters.
Right.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. You know, it's so very that's so very interesting because again, you know, you look at people and you think that they are so secure and so confident in what they're doing, but in actuality, when you really talk to them, they're like, like I said, like they're not even 100%
Right.
like feeling confident in what they do. You know, you just going out there and you trusting God and whatever He does, He does. You know what I mean?
That's
And
it.
that's very awesome.
But that's
Um,
it.
when you during your process, I ask this question a lot too. Like, did you ever find it? What was the support like with your family and those around you? Um, do you find it like currently? Do you find it a challenge sometimes because like I always say, you have two groups of people. You have a group, one side, and they're not haters. They're not haters, Miss Daphney, at all.
Mm-hmm.
But you got one side that might say, Daphney, I know some people who are trying to do what you do, and it didn't really work out for them. You know what I'm saying? They lost a lot of money, they lost a lot of time, they lost this, they lost that. Maybe you might want to rethink this thing. But then on the other side, right, you got these people who say, Daphney, you should be up there with like Fred Hammond and Kim Burrell and Kirk Franklin and all them. You know what? You're not doing enough. You need to get out and do some more interviews. You need to do some TikToks. You need to go out here and get on Instagram and do this, that, and the other. You need to, do a podcast or something. Get your face out there. You got to be doing more. So in actuality, you got one side that says you're not doing enough, and then you got one side that says you're doing too much. Is that something that you've had to deal with in your career?
Yeah. I think anybody in anything that is your desire to do. Um my mom told me a long time ago, she passed away years ago, but she told me, she said, nobody, Daphne, is going to work as hard for your vision than you.
Absolutely.
Nobody. She said, don't even expect it. Don't even expect that, because when I first started out, I did expect it. My city release party was me and my family and all my besties and close friends. They were
Right.
singing background for me. They were passing out the flyers. They was catering. They was ushering the people. I had the whole family down that one night. I
Right.
mean, it was like Hilton clan. And after
Right.
that, that was it. Everybody was like, one of my nieces, I love you, niece, but I'm gonna tell it. She said, Auntie, this starting to feel like a job. I don't want to do this no more.
Wow.
I said, I know, but God gave me that vision. He didn't give it to her. And I
Right.
had to
Right.
understand that. So as I started maneuvering through this journey, this industry, I started, talking to other people and, finding other resources outside of my family, because it's unfair to me to demand them to, I'm an artist and you need to support me. They support me when they can. And one
Right.
time it was my brother, my daughter, and my sister-in-law singing background. But my
Wow.
sister-in-law, she's in the movie industry. She was like, girl, we ain't gonna be able to make it. And then I said, okay, we gotta go here, we gotta do this. Girl, we're not gonna be able to make it. I said, okay, I see. Okay, well, let me find somebody else. Because
Right.
it's unfair to even expect that. You can ask. If they say yes, yes. If they say no, no, be okay with it.
Right. Right.
And be okay. And yes, I've heard, people say, well, that's a hard industry, and you got to do this and you got to get signed, and that's probably why this is not happening. That's probably why this is not happening, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, what God got for me is for me. And when he opens the door, I'm gonna step through it. It's not like I'm not trying, but I don't want to get out of the will of God. God has been great to Daphney Hilton in my own little circle, so I really can't complain about that. He's doing a great job with Blue My Music Consultants. I can't complain about that at all, because he'll open the door when it's for it. And you know how the industry works.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's a business.
Right.
It is a business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's one thing that I've had to learn, even doing this, doing this podcast, right? There are
Mm-hmm.
people that I have reached out to, like people I'm sure that you know. And sometimes they don't even bother to respond. You know what I'm saying? They don't even
Yeah,
bother to say no, thank you, or nothing. They just don't respond. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Because
And,
first of all,
and
they looked you up. First of all, they looked you up.
probably, I guess, and maybe the platform is not big enough. I don't know,
Don't
but
care.
I used to kind of like get a little in my feelings about it, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, man, how much effort does it take to say no?
Yeah,
Just type no or no, thank you.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man, you know what I mean? But I understand, like you said, it's business.
Yeah, it's
You know,
business,
and I,
and it's okay. The thing
and it's
about it
okay.
is, I'm like, it's okay, because I had to learn this. What you're doing, and I think Mama Sue said this. She said, just keep doing it. Just
Mhm.
don't ever stop. If this is something that you're supposed to be doing,
Right,
just keep doing it.
right,
Believe me, they're going to trickle in if that's God's will. And the right people are going to trickle in at the right time. So,
absolutely.
yeah, just like with our platform and my business partner, Calandra Gant, we sometimes we be looking at the numbers, be like, oh, Jesus, but oh, well, because it was great. Somebody's going to be blessed, but the buzz will continue to come. But we can't, just like in the Bible, when David talking about go out there and count them. God was like, what you doing, son? You can't be counting, we can't get caught up in that. We
Right.
just have to do the will of God. If God purposed you to have a podcast that is going to help, like this conversation right here, then
Hmm.
by all means do it, and keep doing
Absolutely.
it, and keep
Absolutely.
doing it.
I appreciate that. I really,
Your
really
smile,
do.
you're just brightening up with this smile, boy. I tell you.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Um, who have you been most surprised to find out is aware of you? Like, who have you been most surprised to find out knows about you or knows about your ministry or your music?
Wow. Well, Dorinda Clark.
Wow.
Well, I did some music for her back in the day.
Hmm.
Everett Drake out of Bobby Jones.
Hmm.
I remember my mama used to watch. We used to watch Bobby Jones. He'd be the only one. He just would be so vibrant. And he was like, "Hey, Daphne." I'm like, "Whoa." He said, "Hey,
Wow.
Daphne," without me even introducing myself. to him.
Wow.
So Marette Clark Brown, um, we were sitting at a back in the day they used to have the Gospel Heritage Praise and Worship Conference with
Okay.
Teresa Hairston. They used to have that, and I'll never forget. I was just sitting there, and she came and sat right by me. She said, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Hey." So on social media, she actually remembered me. She was like, "Hey." I'm like, "Okay, hey," you know. Um,
Yeah.
and that's really it that I know. If they are talking, I don't know. So that's all I know, because I don't even, to be honest with you, it is whatever God gonna do, you know.
Really? So
Yeah.
so for how long did it take for you to get to that type of mindset? Like it is what it is basically. Like did it
Um, After a lot of heartaches,
Mhm.
in the industry, and like I used to sing. I came out of the choir industry. So I used to sing a lot with different choirs. When I got to Atlanta, I was like, oh yeah, I'm coming here. I'm just, put it down in Atlanta, right?
Mhm.
'Cause I went from Miami to the DMV area to Atlanta.
Mhm.
So my friends from Atlanta, they had the Atlanta Christian Youth Seminar. So they knew that I could sing. So I got with Dirt Cheney and Chosen Aggregation. Then I started singing with David Walker in High Praise. And so just trying to, get into that whole industry. But when I dropped this first project, Grace Child, and I was trying to get on all these different, go back to the people that I know and get on
Mhm.
all these different platforms, and I wasn't asked. I was not asked to do any of it. It was just like they was watching, but nobody was really saying, "Hey, Daphne, let me," because I didn't know nothing.
Right.
I didn't know anything.
Right.
So I was like, "Oh well," because a lot of heartache, because you not saying David Walker and Dirt Chain. I'm just saying that whole choir, um, the whole choir community. It was never asked, hey, why don't you come sing a solo? Now, I did have a couple of people that knew I sang, and because I sang with them, it was like, oh, I want you to come on my program. So I did get some of that, but even to this day, I guess because you know uh, being an artist or in this industry is a dime a dozen. It's so many of us.
Mhm.
So, you have your picks and chooses. You can pick whoever you want,
Right.
especially if they want to use your platform, for more publicity or whatever. So, I mean, I just be like, I'm just in the game. I'm in the game with y'all. So we gonna eventually run into each other again. And I'm probably,
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? So it's okay.
Mhm.
It's okay. And maybe me not being on those different platforms at that time, maybe I wasn't mature enough, because
Mhm.
I give my all and I expect so much. And now in this industry, I really don't. I just
Mhm.
give and I let my reputation and what I'm doing and what God is doing go and do the other work for me. I'm just showing up. I'm just getting
Wow.
in the game and I'm playing the game and I'm
Right.
doing what I need to be doing to make sure whatever the platform God has given me is successful.
Right. That's really awesome that you said that because especially in being in the position that you're in, and as an independent artist, you go into these events, and there's a part. I'm not saying you per se, but you go to these events and you minister and you do your thing, and you're doing it for God, of course,
Mhm.
but part of you is still searching for that validation. Like maybe somebody
Absolutely.
might come and say, "Oh, girl, you sounded good," or
Absolutely.
Miss Daphne, you blessed me. You looking for that, and if you don't get it, you know what I'm saying? You feel like maybe you failed or
Yeah.
something. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
I
And
get
so,
that. No, Mike, this is so true what you're saying. But because like I said, I don't had a whole lot of heartache.
right.
Um, because I've had people that I've gotten picked over.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, we want you, but we want you, and we want you, we want you, but nobody said they wanted me. So I get that. But when you know you laid it all out, you left it all out on the stage, left it all out on the pulpit, whatever you ever, and then wherever you singing at, you have to be okay with that.
Right.
And I had to learn that. I
Mhm.
had to learn it because I'm a very I'm the type of person that I will compliment. Oh my God, you sound so good. Oh my
Right.
God, you look so nice. Okay,
Right.
you look really that's who I am. So reciprocation or reciprocity was everything to me in my younger years. It was
Mhm.
everything to me. I quit.
Mhm.
I actually quit. I was like, God, I don't want to do this. I quit because I was broke. you know, I felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like nobody
Right.
wanted to hear me sing all that, right? But I couldn't sit still because God gave me all of me. Right during
Mhm.
that time when I sat down, God gave me all of me, and I told God, I said, "Now, if you don't help me do this, I give you everything. I give you my mind because my mind just going like this. Do, 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 do. I give you my heart. I give you my body. I give you
Mhm.
all of these things because I'm going to give you everything. And if you don't take it and do something with it, well, I just guess this is what it's going to be. Because like I said like I said earlier, our this industry is a business, and a lot of business I did not know. And
Mhm.
paying money and giving money and doing this and doing that. And then I looked up, I said, man, I can't pay my bills. I was had smaller kids, they grown now, but smaller kids, I'm like, oh, I don't think I want to do this no more.
Right.
Because I felt like everybody was, and don't think I'm cocky. I'm not. But when people coming at you saying, "Oh my God, you got this gift. Oh my God, you can really sing. Oh my God, I want you come here, come do this, do this, do this, do this," and then you're like, "Okay, I'm excited." Or it's gonna be $250. It's gonna be $500. It's gonna be da. Oh, we're not gonna pay you. I went to Williamsburg, Virginia. I think it was
You said
Williamsburg.
Williamsburg?
Yeah, I went
Okay,
in
yeah, that's
my
not far
early
from here.
years.
That's like 10 minutes from here.
My early years, I went to Williamsburg. Me and my friends, my background, so we went up there, spent all the money, everything, and they was like, "Okay, thank you,"
Wow.
just like that. And now, mind you, I'm coming from Atlanta. It was like,
Wow.
"Oh, okay, thank you." I was like, "Okay, now I see how this works."
Wow.
I had to learn with a lot of heartaches, but I thank God for those heartaches.
Mhm.
In all of me is, I give you my heart, I give you my mind, I give you my body, take all of me. So because I thank God for all of the lessons that I learned. So I'm not so quick to jump anymore. And I'm okay with that. It's like, Lord, if you don't do this, we're not going to do it. So I'm
Right.
okay with not jumping because I was jumping. Because
Mhm.
as an artist, oh, yeah, you want to do this? I was like, you know what? I don't want to do that no more.
Right. That's another. See, you're driving this interview right now. Um,
Okay.
that's a because you keep bringing up these interesting words. Now that brings us to another issue or concern that a lot of, especially in the Christian community, do you ask for pay or do you not ask for pay? Is it right? Is it wrong?
This is
Should you even
good.
expect it? Should you
This,
do it? You know what I'm saying?
this is
Like
good.
what are your feelings on that?
Yes. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. Salvation is free.
Hmm.
Daphney Hilton, the artist, is a business.
Wow.
Daphney, the minister, I'm gonna give you salvation. I can give you
Hmm.
that for free. I can hold your hand and I can talk, I can minister you into accepting Jesus Christ. I can give you some word, but when it comes to this, and it comes to my time, and it comes to my musicians, it comes to my background singers, and it comes to travel, y'all gonna have to help me get there if you want me. You
Mm.
have to. And my thing is, if you local, a love offering, now pray about it. Because sometimes, God will say, go, regardless, without
Mhm.
having money, without even them saying, but you got to use discernment. Because I mean, I just came from, me and my business partner just came from Augusta. And I mean, it was trench work. When I tell
Did
it
you
was
say trench work?
trench work. I
Okay.
mean, she told me, she called me, she said, well, it's gonna be across the street from the projects. I said,
Hmm.
oh, okay, I know how to put my project hat on from the hood. I get it. I know how
Right,
to do that.
right.
So, but it was great. People were coming in there being prayed for. When we sang, but do you know I wasn't expecting anything, and she actually blessed both of us with money.
Mm.
Didn't even expect it. And and I said, well, Lord, I'm going. So I think you have to use discernment as well. But these big shows, and they want you to come to Williamsburg, Virginia, or somewhere like that, and you can't get no plane ticket. Y'all can't even fly me in. If you fly me in and put me in a hotel room and give me a little honorarium, you ain't got to be a lot because I know you have to pay money for the ticket and you had to pay money for the hotel room. I can feed myself. I can just make some sandwiches, but at least get me there. At
Right,
least get me there.
right, right. Because that's always interesting to me. There's some people who I ask that to, and they're just like you. Yes, you should, because if you don't, you have to protect yourself, because if you don't, if they can get you to do all that for nothing, they will. You know what I
You
mean?
already know.
But then there's some people who they'll tell you, um, you know, God will make room for you. God will provide.
Will.
You
That's
know,
word. That's Bible.
He'll provide for you. So you shouldn't ask for anything, because God is going to provide, because you're going to do this, that, and the third. So it's always a big issue. And I've actually had people who thinks that even that question is offensive. So it's like, there's really no general consensus on if that's a good look or not, or if that's proper etiquette or whatever. You know what I mean? So.
It is because if you call yourself an artist,
Mhm.
you need to be compensated for that. Now, if you want to just go and just be a singer, I'm just come and minister and I'm gonna just pay all my way, blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of people like that. There's a
Mhm.
lot of people that would do that. I mean, we as artists would do that in time and sometimes. But I believe that, you know, sometimes I think we get too spiritual about
Mm.
the word of God. And if you really read your Bible and prime example, if we got time,
Sure.
my church teach a lot about tithing and giving and prosperity and all these things, right?
Mhm.
And I was talking to my girls and I said, now I understand giving. I understand giving to my church. I understand that. I understand giving to wherever I go. I understand giving. First of all, it is a universal principle. Principle. God is the God of the universe. I don't care what nobody say. Well, the universe. He's God of all of that. So it is a principle in God's universe. So 12 tribes, right?
Mhm.
And all of them, all 11 of them got land plus Manasseh. So that's Joseph's kids. But the Levites didn't get no land. How did the Levites live? How did they live? How did they eat? How was they able to go buy clothes, and how were they going to be able to take care of themselves, right?
Mhm.
Levites are laymen in the church. They work in the church. They worked in the temple, right? They worked
Right.
in the temples.
Mhm.
So in the Bible, in the Old Testament, they after they did the sacrifices, they took the spoils, the leftover spoils. That's how they lived. That's how they lived. The leftover spoils. They didn't burn up everything. They burned up. God came, boom, boom, boom. Okay, now y'all can have the rest. That's the same thing as for us. Our spoils. We come, bring our money, our sacrifice to the church. But the people that work the church and keep the church up got to get paid. They
Right.
have to because they're there. They are there Monday through Friday taking
Mhm.
care of the church that we're gonna come in on Sunday, hallelujah in.
Right.
So why wouldn't we give to make sure that that is being taken care of?
Mhm.
Same thing with me as an artist. If I'm coming, I'm working on me. You asked me to come as an artist. So I'm going to come. So why wouldn't you? I'm a Levite. I'm a Levite of the word of God. I sing the word of God. My job as an artist is, as a gospel artist, is in the body of Christ. I come
Mhm.
in and I serve there. I serve the body of Christ with my gift.
Right.
So why wouldn't I be compensated for that? Now, like I
Right.
tell you, salvation is free. I'm gonna give you salvation every now. I don't. Somebody gonna see this and say something about it, but it's okay because that's how I feel. No, really, because salvation is free. I can give you that for free. But when it comes to the gift that God has given me and the whole package God has given me, somebody need to be somebody need to be compensated.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, and that's so true. And what happens is that too is that and I want to ask you this. It's like, how do you how do you think that the church, on in that vein, how do you think the church views you as an artist? Like, and what I mean by that is like when I was an artist, when I was doing different events or whatever, okay, they would ask me to come and do a song or two or whatever. But they would also have a guest speaker coming in too. So what happens is that it's a given that they're going to give the speaker something, but the artist is 50-50 unless it's been discussed beforehand.
Absolutely.
It's 50-50 if the artist is going to get something. And even if it is discussed prior to, it's never comparable to the speaker. If there's a speaker involved, it's never comparable. Like,
That's true.
you know what I'm saying? They might want to give him 1,000, but they'll give you 150. And I
Mhm,
mean, it'd be like
mhm.
huge
Astronomical
difference.
difference.
You know what I'm saying? So like when I ask you that, like that's what I mean when I ask you that. Like, how do you feel like the church community recognizes and I guess respects um the artist when it comes to that thing? Do they see the artist as disposable as opposed to a speaker who they feel like is doing a more important work than what the artist is doing?
Well, I think that it's evolving,
Mhm.
um, to where, the church recognizes artists, because even with the more progressive churches, their praise team leaders and ministers of music and, musical directors are getting paid,
Right.
and they just get paid to come to church and
Mhm.
minister on the platform at church only, but they're
Right.
getting paid. Some of the older churches, they're starting to evolve into that. I
Mhm.
do know that, because I was a praise and worship leader and sang on a praise team for years and didn't get anything. And but the pastor, not where I am now. But the pastor, what he started doing was when we started having outings, he would give us money.
Mhm.
He would pay us for our time going to different outings. So you can see where the church is evolving. Now, some churches are still in that traditional mindset.
Mhm.
It's traditional. Okay, thank y'all, appreciate you, but we gotta pay the speaker, but you're
Right.
still delivering the word either through song or through spoken word. You're
Right.
still delivering the word. And if you are an artist, you're not there to just, oh, we're gonna just have Mr. Mike Robinson to come and just do a solo. No, you hired me as an artist.
Mhm.
If you want somebody to just come and do a solo, now I'm a member of your church, I get that. But if you go
Right.
to another church and they ask you Mike Robinson, the artist, then I think you should be compensated as the artist. Now, will we ever get as much as the speaker? Probably not, but that's okay
Right.
because God honors your heart.
Right.
But you got some people's like, thank you. That's it. Thank you. And you're like, okay,
Right.
you're welcome.
Now, let me give this disclaimer to all those that might be watching. I am not, I repeat, not, capital Not, not going against the church. I'm not
Absolutely.
talking bad
Absolutely.
about the church
Oh,
at
we're not.
all.
I love my church.
I I'm I'm simply posing a question be, based off my experiences, and I just want to see what other people's experiences are that
Absolutely.
have like minds. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So absolutely, I am not disparaging the church. I'm not disparaging whatever.
we love the church.
Yeah,
We go every
whatever
Sunday, every
system you
Wednesday.
have,
Right.
then if God, that's how God leads you, then who am I to say it's not right?
Absolutely.
I'm just posing a question.
Right. But also, too, you're posing the question to somebody who's an artist and not
Right,
Mary Sue from the number one choir going to give us a solo at the Women's Day program tomorrow.
right,
You see
right,
what I'm saying?
absolutely.
So I get that. And some people, this is all they do. This is their artistry, is their livelihood.
Right,
That's
right,
their livelihood. And so it's up to them to say, it's up to that artist to say, I'm not going to go because there's not an honorarium. It
right.
doesn't mean that you're a bad person. That's my livelihood. You got musicians that do the same thing. I can't go. This one guy told me, he lived, I think, over an hour from me. He said, hey, I can't come and play for you for $100. That's when I know no better. I can't
Hmm.
come and play for you for $100 because it's too far for me. And I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't offended. Let me get somebody that lives somewhere in my area so it
Right,
won't be so far. And they're gonna get these $100 because
right,
that was the budget at the time.
right, absolutely. Wow. Um, moving along.
Why you sound so moving along?
No, I don't want it to seem like that's my whole, you know what I'm saying?
It's not.
You
Believe
know,
me, they're not. Because some people gonna watch this and they're gonna understand what you're saying. Some people may not, but most people will because our church community is evolving
mhm.
and it's evolving quickly, more faster. It's faster than we think it is.
So imaging, we look at, secular artists, R&B artists, rap artists, whatever, right? And we look at, the way that they dress and their imaging and how they present themselves or whatever. And then you have the Christian slash gospel community, right?
Mhm.
Um, how do you, I don't even know how to ask the question. Like,
Just ask it. It's
is
okay.
is imaging important in the Christian community? Is it as important in the Christian community as it is in the secular community? And I guess overall, what I'm asking is, does marketing have a place in ministry?
Um, First of all, let me address imaging. Um, your image, regardless if you're an artist or not, just a person walking around, going to whatever you're doing,
Mhm,
you take pride in yourself, regardless. I mean, we
mhm,
were taught that. If you got on a pair of ripped jeans and a t-shirt and flip-flops and you think you look cute, then that's on you.
mhm,
That's your image.
mhm,
Um, when it comes to I think the Christian community, we are, even back in the day, my mom, them, they had dresses. They all had the same kind of dress. They had the big hair stuff, the big wigs and the big curly. They all, I mean, because even back then, even if you are a gospel artist, there is a type of brand that you want people to see you as. That's just you in general. If you got somebody that's all they wear is what them children wearing now, them crazy looking sneakers that look like fish sneakers, but what they call them, you just went mute.
like the Yeezys,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, them. I don't like them. But if that's your brand, you wear all every time the new thing come out, that's what you wearing. It's like, oh, well, she gonna always have the new stuff that's come out. So
Right.
I said all that to say it really doesn't matter what community you're in. I believe that there is a type of brand or image that you choose to portray, but as long as it's authentic to who you are. I was talking to my daughter the other day. I said, I saw this young guy, and he was up there doing at the Hip Hop Gospel Awards, and he was up there. I mean, he was blinged out, blah blah. I mean, he looked real nice, but I know his background. I ain't gonna call him out. And I was like, wow, Lord, to look at him, you would think, oh my God, he got millions of, he making that bank, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. So my thing is, even with marketing with the churches, even if you notice, the churches are marketing. The churches are marketing. They have their little, they streaming now because they want people to see their ministry. They got the little ads on the Facebook and the Instagram. They coming on live. You still sending. My dad, I'm a PK. So my daddy is older. He got a little small church in Miami, Florida. And they you know how they brand? They had a fish fry on a Friday. And the whole neighborhood come and get that fish fry, and they talk about Jesus, and they come to church on Sunday. That's branding.
Right.
That's your image. They know Pastor Hilton is going to be out there. He's going to have on a little shirt that say Ephesians and his little jeans and his dress shoes. They already know that Pastor Hilton's going to have on dress shoes. That's his brand. That's his brand. You already know. He ain't going to have sneakers. It's going to be dress shoes.
Because we had, like not maybe a year or so ago, I think it was Erica Campbell had posted a picture, and she was wearing like a dress, but it wasn't showing anything. But she's very curvy, so
white dress.
You know what I mean? So she's very curvy. So of course her talents were on display.
Yes.
If
you look good to me though.
Right. So like, is that okay?
Okay, so let me say this. You pray about it and you ask God, is this something that I should be wearing? Because a lot of times we can allow our flesh to guide us. But for me and the white dress, it was tasteful. She has a beautiful body. It was not, I thought it was modest enough without being everything so baggy and to cover up everything. You look like you got on a paper bag. So I used to direct the youth choir at Berean Christian Church. We had 132 kids. And every time I would get up there, I had to wear a skirt. I felt more comfortable, excuse me, in a jean skirt than some jeans because my back was against the congregation. So for me, you just have to pray about it. And I would get up every time I would have to direct. I'm like, Lord, what should I wear? Because I don't want to be a distraction to the people behind me. Because everybody in the church, they ain't looking at Jesus.
Right. Right.
They ain't looking at Jesus. So, but I think for me, the Erica Campbell outfit was beautiful. What's the little girl name? Tasha Cobb had on one that was real big and it came all the way out to the side. It was fitted. It looked really nice and elegant. Jacqueline Carr, nice and elegant. I don't think that should be an issue. If your eyes are distracted, you looking and your mind ain't on God, then I think you got to check that. Right. I don't think there was anything wrong with her dress. Now she had her where her V-neck was down to her navel. You know what I'm saying? If it was like that, and then you had to split all the way up to the hip, then I was like, well, dang, Erica,
right?
We doing this? But she was covered. She was elegant. She was. I didn't have an issue with that at all. I did not. Now, I don't think you need to be wearing leggings in the pulpit, coming in leggings and some heels and a little crop top talking about Jesus. Now that's a big distraction, especially for not even for traditional churches. That's just for church general. They were like, oh my God, because you don't want anything what is that in the Bible? Don't let my right be spoken of wrong.
Yeah, right. Your evil,
My
your
evil be
good be
spoken
evil
of.
spoken of. Right.
Yeah, that. So, excuse me. I think you have to be thinking about that as well. I always pray, well, Lord, what am I gonna wear? Because I don't want to be distracted, but I want to look my brand, and I want to look good because I like looking good.
Right. Right. That's awesome. Listen. And for the males too. I mean, because like, I'm in the gym every day,
Hmm.
sometimes 2 times a day.
Oh wow.
And even I uh have that in mind, like certain shirts or whatever, like
Hmm.
to the point where I'll wear something maybe a size too big a
Hmm.
little bit. Because I don't even want people to think that I'm trying to show off or nothing like that. Not that I
But
think
they're
that.
gonna think that regardless if you fine. So
So I don't know. Like I always that's these are things that I think about. You know what I mean? Like for men
people
and
gonna
women.
talk regardless.
Right.
Your jeans ain't too tight. You ain't got no skinny jeans that's too tight where you can't sit down. You know what I'm saying? No, really, because
Right.
guys into those skinny jeans. I'm like,
Right.
Jesus. And you if you buff, you choose you need to wear a 3X, that's on you because that's your preference. But if a
Right.
guy is wearing a 2X that fit him, that's fitted t-shirt, what's wrong with that? He's not in there with the shirt up, he ain't got no crop, he ain't got no, you know what I'm saying? No muscle
Right.
shirt, he ain't got on no spandex,
Right.
I think I think I'm sorry. I just think that sometimes that ain't in the Bible. Show
Right.
me it in the Bible. That's my
Right.
thing. Show me it in the Bible, and I promise you, I'm gonna conform.
Right. Wow. Okay, this is really fun. Um, Blue Mile Music. Let's talk about Blue Mile Music. Let's tell me what's that all about?
Well, Blue Mountain Music, I am the one half of the CEOs of Blue Mountain Music Consultants. And the goal is we're two artists that came together and said, hey, we got to do something for our peers and for our industry. We're both indie artists and understand how it is. We're walking the walk. We may be a little further than some, and some may be further than we are.
Mhm.
And Blue Mountain Music, we consult not just gospel. We consult all genres. We consult all genres. So and from music business 101, we've been writing a couple of jingles. Um, we got two, three artists that we're helping in the studio, doing some studio consultation. Um, we're doing branding on one of the artists. Just any little area that, as an indie artist, to make sure when you step on that platform, you feel comfortable. We got a retreat coming up in September, and it's a 3-day retreat, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and it's for industry. It doesn't matter what genre, it's creatives in the industry because we work 24/7. It's a nonstop. We don't even know how to turn it off.
Mm.
So we're pushing our industry to at least take 3 days for yourself. Of course, you're gonna have time to work, but at least take 3 days for yourself. So Blue Mile, we find that need and we feel it. Our slogan is always, we're changing the game for the kingdom, because we want our communities to see that we feel you and we
Mhm.
understand you, and whatever the need is, if it's within our parameters, we will help.
Nice.
We are on the board of Gospel Choice Music Awards. We're on the board for that. We've done several award shows in the back office, consulting and helping and making sure everything is ready for when it's time to execute. They'll have all of the things that they need. So I mean, Blue My Music is doing this thing. So I'm really thankful to God for that, because me and Calandra is the yin and the yang, the salt and the pepper. I'm the
Mhm.
pepper, she the salt. I'm the
Mhm.
yin, she the yang. You know,
Yeah.
but it
So
works.
so what made you want to assist others when you could just take whatever information that you got, resources and connections that you have, and use them solely for yourself and solely for Miss Calandra as well? What made you want to reach out to others?
Well, we both have a servant's heart. And that's one of the things that connected us together, because we both have a servant's heart. We do it differently, but we have that heart for people and to see people do well. And the thing about it is, that ain't gonna knock nothing off of me.
Right,
You
right,
know, it's
right.
not gonna knock nothing off of her because she doing her thing. I mean, because a lot of the artists, the indie artists, the new artists that come through, they're not on the platforms that we're on. And then the award shows, we no, I mean, we just do it because God say do it.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely. And what's in your process, if you could name one thing, um, a lot of times when we decide to go into business for ourselves or become indie artists or anything of that nature, it takes us out of our comfort zone, to say the least. Um, it puts us in positions where we have to do things that we're not ordinarily used to. Like if like I'm just generally a quiet person, but in order for me to do this, I have to speak. I have to talk. I have to. So this has kind of brought this whole thing out of me that I didn't necessarily know that I was capable of prior to going into it. So with that being said, what's something that this process has brought out of you that you didn't necessarily know was in you prior to coming in? What's a trait or something that you found out about yourself that you didn't know prior to?
well, this talking on platforms like this,
Mhm.
I never wanted to do this. This our conversation. We have a platform as well called Conversation with Blue Mile, and it was birthed out of the pandemic. And
Mhm.
number one is I don't like to network, and I know as
Mhm.
an artist you have to be in the mix of some things. And I'm an introvert. I can do this one on one all day. But if you put me in a crowd of a whole lot of people in a big crowd, I'm
Mhm.
probably going to become invisible or disappear to the back. I have to push myself to stay present. I have to
Mhm.
push myself to stay in the midst of it because for me, I could be like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. But as an artist, I have to make myself stay in the middle of this thing called the music industry because I don't like networking and I don't like this, you talking out of side,
Right.
and that I thank God for discernment because I got I got I got it a lot. I got a lot in my earlier years. So being in this industry made me become a little bit more present and aware and more talkative, to people that I don't even know. If you put me to the corner, I'll talk to you. But we're out with a whole lot of people. I'm so awkward. I can't hear you mute. I'm so awkward.
Yeah, I get that. I get
I'm so
that.
awkward. We both be looking like
Absolutely.
this. Ain't nobody saying nothing.
Right. I think that for me, for me doing this, without even really trying, because I have to um have conversations with
Yeah.
you and come, ask questions and things of that nature. I think that outside of this, it has made me a better conversationalist.
That's it.
It's without even really knowing that I'm doing it. Now I can hold a conversation with people better. I speak better with
Yes.
people. And so it's
And be
generally
okay with it. And you're okay
right
with
and
it. Mhm.
feel totally comfortable because like I said, without even trying, I'm learning how to ask the right questions and,
Absolutely.
speak at the right times and timing and different things of that nature. And even in some cases, not
Mhm.
in this case, but in some cases, people will accept these invitations and then they come on here and then you kind of have to like drag
Yes.
it out. You have to
Yes.
drag the information out. You have to,
I get
you know what I'm
it.
saying? And so without even trying, it's really taught me to be better, as far as engaging people. So I
Yeah.
absolutely get it. I
Yeah.
absolutely do.
This is
Um,
good stuff. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Um, Daddy's Girls of Destiny.
Oh, yes.
What can you tell us
Somebody
what
been
that's?
doing that good reading.
Yeah. What tell us a little bit about Daddy's Girls of
Oh
Destiny.
my goodness. We're in the relaunching stage. Oh my goodness. Daddy's Girls of Destiny. Well, it started when my daughter got into the third grade, my oldest daughter, third grade. Like I told you, I was the minister, not minister of music. I was the choir director over our youth choir. And all of the mothers would be like, I don't know, something going on with my daughter, she's turning 8, third grade, and they will have those conversations with me because they know I had kids too.
Mhm.
And I'm like, man, Lord, something is going on with this transition from second to third, from 7 to 8, 7-year old to 8-year old, second grade to third grade. And I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna do a little gathering. And I'll never forget, I pondered, woke up in the middle of the night, bam, Daddy's Girls of Destiny. Daddy's Girls of
Wow.
Destiny. I'm like, oh my God. So let me tell you what it means. Daddy's Girls of Destiny is all about girls and who they are and the emptiness. We all have voids in our life. Your dad can be in the house or he doesn't have to be in the house, but it's the voids are still being created because a
Right.
parent can only do the best that a parent knows.
Right.
So I was teaching our girls because some girls, their father was in the house and they didn't have a relationship with them, or their
Mhm.
fathers just weren't in the house. I'm a product of divorced parents and I'm a divorcee as well. So I saw the change in my daughter. And then my baby, she was a baby, so she was just kind of willy-nilly. But the 8-year-old, I saw the change in her. So, and for some reason, girls were drawn to me. So I said, well, I'll just put this together and see what happens. And it actually grew. And we
Mm.
would have we had parent sessions as well as sessions for the girls. And what I used to teach them and still is, because even the older ones, the ones that have already gone through the program, that I still know them. They still, hey, Miss Daphney. So we're just relaunching it. And I told them, I said, even though you don't know your dad or don't see your dad, you have a spiritual dad. God is your dad. And those things, don't make that an excuse to be to be who you are. Don't make an excuse to act the way you act. Well, her dad went in her life. That's why, nah, no, 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 no. Because when I went to a divorce counselor, the guy told me, he said, if one of y'all get it right, at least the child got a 50% chance. So please don't make excuses for the child. Now, me
Right.
and my ex, we co-parent.
Mhm.
So, but that was by choice. It wasn't, I didn't make him. I just said, hey, we gonna co-parent. I didn't make him though. I just say, hey, we co-parenting.
Right.
So, but people needed to see that, because just because that man is not in the house doesn't mean that man cannot have that relationship with that child. Just
Right.
because the mom is not in the house doesn't mean the child can't have a relationship with the other parent. So that's how Daddy's Girls of Destiny came about. And we would pray and we would, talk, have those sessions, and and then we would lead them to God, because he's the only one that can fix those voids in our life, even as adults. We have those voids. Man, my daddy ain't by man, he okay.
Right.
He did the best. He know what to do,
Right.
and that's all you can do. Because but there comes a time in your life where now you got to be accountable for what you do and your
Right.
actions and how you feel. Don't blame it on, well, I got daddy issues. Stop claiming it. We all got some sort of daddy issues. But God
Right.
is our ultimate father. And
Right.
you his word, I promise you, the word is going to lead you to a better life.
Mm.
But you just got to read it and apply it to your life. Don't use that as an excuse. That's how Daddy's Girls of Destiny came about.
Wow. That is awesome. That is awesome. And it's really important, especially now, with a lot of things that have been happening and have been going on and in our life. It's like, that village mentality
Absolutely.
that definitely needs to come back or needs to be strengthened or
Strengthen.
however you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, that's absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you for asking about that. I appreciate that.
no problem. Listen, when I ask people to come on or whatever, I do my best to um research them and bury myself in. Like I was listening to like your music. I listened to a bunch of it or whatever,
Okay.
and I don't know if you will be offended by this, but you remind me a lot of, and I don't know if you've heard this before, but you remind me a lot of Anita Wilson.
Somebody else said that.
You remind me a lot of her, like the voice tone, even kind of like the style. You
Mm,
know, we even when you did Jesus will, you
uh-huh.
sounded
You
like,
saw that on the YouTube.
yeah, yeah, like um you
Okay.
reminded me of her.
Everybody said, "Oh man, I had on a wig and everything." That's the old one. I had on this thing.
Yes,
Oh, I should
yeah.
take that video down. But thank you. I get that. I just started getting that.
Yeah.
I just started getting that. Oh my God, you remind me of Anita Wilson. I'm just starting to hear that lately, like in the past couple of years. I've been getting that. Oh man, you remind me of Anita Wilson.
Yeah, I hope that's not an
Mhm.
offensive
I love
thing
her.
because yeah,
I
I
love
yeah, I really dig her. And when I heard the first couple of songs that you did, that's one of the first things that popped in my head. I said, you know what, she sounds like Anita Wilson a lot. But
her. She got
yeah,
nice
awesome.
tone quality.
Right, right. So I just got a couple more questions
That's
for
fine.
you. And because I know you probably got a gazillion things that you could be doing.
No, I
Um,
go to Happy Hour Live. It's a Christian Happy Hour Live event. I don't know. Yeah, I got to think about it. It's late. My girls want to go.
oh,
It's an alternative because I'm not going nowhere else.
oh, okay. What's the most common? What have you found to be the most common misconception that people have about you?
Wow. Now that's real deep. Um, that you have to know me to know that I am very vulnerable, but people won't, they don't think I am.
Mhm.
And then um, I feel that sometimes people put me on this pedestal, and when they meet me, it's like, man, I didn't know that you was just so cool like that.
Right.
And now that to me, I get a little concerned because it's like, just say hello, and I promise you I'm going to speak back.
Hmm.
But the vulnerability and the just, maybe they think I'm up here and I don't. So that's a preconception that I want people to know, that I'm a normal person I'm humble. I try my best to. I don't care if you the alcoholic on the street. I'm gonna say, hey, if you walking by me, I'm not going to not speak. And
Right.
I can be vulnerable at times. I just don't display it. I don't. It's like, okay. But on the inside, I'm like, but on the outside, I'm like this.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Right. Wow. Okay. I just have two more questions for you. The first one is this. To date, so far, what has been the best piece of advice you've received, and what's been the worst piece of advice you've received up till now?
Hmm. Um, the best advice is just be organic. Um, and people will draw to you those that supposed to.
Hmm.
Just be organic. I can't put on airs. I wouldn't even know how. So I tried. I
Right.
tried,
Hmm.
but it was not who I am. So just be organic, be yourself, be organic, and people will draw those that's supposed to be. They'll draw, and the worst advice um, was in reference to the industry was to just call the people and see if they can squeeze you on their program. Just call them and see if they can squeeze you. No, because you can't. No.
Right. Right.
So, no. And in my day to day life, worst advice is um, it was more of, well, almost like over pleasing somebody. Well, you got to do what you got to do to. I don't think I should have to do what I got to do to keep anybody. Because I think, we have our free will, and it should be organic, whatever it is that we're doing. It should be organic. I shouldn't have to force nothing, and the whole expectation of, well, I expect you this, and I don't have any expectations. If I say I want to be with you, or I want to hang out with you, or I want to do this, that's because I want to do it, not because someone made me do it, or coerced me into doing it, or manipulated me into doing it. I do it because that's what I want to do. That's it.
Awesome. Okay, this is my last official question for you. It is a question that I ask every single guest. And once I ask it, I just want you to take a moment, think about it, and give me the most transparent answer that you can, honest and transparent answer that you can give me. So the question is, what would have to happen in your life, if it has not happened already, for you to consider your life a success? What does success look like for you specifically?
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I wish you would have sent me these questions and I would have been prepared. Oh my goodness. Okay, because I can be like real fleshy right by now. I want a
Okay.
Grammy. I want a Stella. I want to be on
Mhm.
the Grammy, the Stella. I want to be on Billboard. I mean, I can tell you all that kind of stuff for success for me. But honestly, as I look over my life, TD Jakes said this a long time ago. When you're walking in success, you don't feel like you're being successful because you're doing it.
Mhm.
So everybody have a level of success. And for me, as long as I am good where I am in my life, I think I'm successful. Now, I would love to hit the stellar stages by myself, not with somebody backing up somebody. I want to be the one singing. I would love to be on the Grammy. I would love to get a Grammy. I would love to get a Stella. I would love to get an Oscar, an Emmy, all of those things, because I'm dibbling and dabbling in all of those areas. And to me, and for people to be encouraged and people to be to be encouraged and to get something out of what I'm doing. To me, that's success. When somebody said, "Oh my God, when I heard these lyrics, oh my God, when you said this," to me, that's success because what you're doing is purposeful. What you're doing is meaning something to somebody. But like I said, the fleshy side of me is the Grammys, the Stellas, the Emmys, the Oscars, the Billboard, I mean, I don't care about the $1 million sales and stuff, but I do care about that. So I can put all that stuff on my wall and leave a legacy for my next generation.
Right.
Bam, bam, period.
Oh my gosh.
Dot, dot,
Oh my gosh.
dot.
Um, if somebody was watching this interview and something that you said resonated with them, um, and they wanted to reach out and maybe get some advice or maybe enroll in your boot camp or become part of the Daddy's Daughters of Destiny or whatever, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, you can go to my website, daphneyhilton.com. But the easiest way to get to me is Daphney Hilton, Daphney with the Y, Daphney, Hilton, like the Hilton Hotel at Gmail, or hit me up on all of my social medias. All of my social media is Daphney Hilton, DaphneyHilton. Every last one of them, except YouTube, is Daphney TV. So if you want to hit me up, I promise you, I'm gonna try my best to respond. So, and yeah, either one of those. Just Google Daphney with the Y Hilton, and all my stuff gonna pop up.
Well, I want to take this moment to thank you and tell you how much I appreciate you coming on. Um, I really had fun. Like, this was
Good.
really fun, and I really learned a lot. And again, I really, really appreciate you taking the time to be so transparent and so gracious. And I absolutely look forward to having you on again here in the near future. Uh, absolutely. Um, is there any last words you want to leave with the people before you go off to any aspiring artists, or just a general word that you want to leave with?
Well, for our inspired artists, just be organic, be who you are. And the industry is starting to evolve into this whole cookie cutting type sound, but be who you are and create your platform. Create your platform. And believe me, if it's a good platform, they're gonna come. Connect with people, learn how to connect with the right people, and the right people may not be the right person for somebody else, but it's the right
Mhm.
person for you.
Right.
And for just in general, to anybody that's listening or watching, just love on people, and love on people don't mean give them all your stuff and be, codependent, that kind of stuff. But
Right.
that's one of God's greatest investments, our people. So and
Mhm.
be yourself. People will like you for who you are
Right.
and
Absolutely.
love God.
Wow. But again, I thank you and I appreciate you. I know you could have been doing a million other things, but you're here with me and well with us, and I definitely appreciate that. I look forward to having you on again in the near future, and I wish you many, many, many blessings on everything that you have
Thank
going
you,
on,
Mike.
the music, Blue Mile, Daddy's Girls, that whole thing, and whatever else that we didn't discuss. I wish you blessings on that as well too. And one last thing, shout out your church and your pastor before you go to.
Okay, and don't forget to hit me up too about the music for the movie too.
Yes, ma'am.
So I want to make a shout out to Pastor Carl Miller Sr. of Christian Life Center worldwide here in Rex, Georgia, and the metropolitan Atlanta. Hey, woo, woo. Oh, and my youth pastor, who I'm a youth leader under, Pastor Trail Dunk Webb. So I appreciate him. So I just wanted to do that. Fly Student Ministries, what's up? What's up?
Okay. Okay. Well, again, I thank you for coming on, and I look forward to reaching out to you again,
Please.
and we're, this is just the beginning, so we got some stuff that we're gonna work out. But again, I appreciate everything that you did, everything that you said needed to be said, and I'm sure that people were blessed because I absolutely was blessed.
Thank you.
So, with that being said, you have an awesome night and a great weekend, and we will be in touch.
All righty. Bye, y'all.
There you have it, y'all. Another awesome interview with another interesting and awesome guest. Shout out to Miss Daphney Hilton. Please check out her music on YouTube and anywhere that music is streamed. She has a single called All of Me. Check it out. She's definitely dope. I want to thank all of you guys for coming on and checking me out. Well, checking out the platform and sitting through the interview or whatever. And I want to thank the people who are going to come on later and maybe watch the rebroadcast of it or on YouTube or whatever. I want to thank y'all. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. And again, man, I encourage you that if God has given you a vision, a plan, or a glimpse of what you could be doing, I implore you to do it, to go forth. No interruptions, no doubt, no fear. Just go forth. If He's given you the vision, He's going to provide provision, and that's something that I have to constantly remind myself of too, because a lot of times it's easy for us to say it, but it's not always so easy to walk in it for ourselves. And so I'm telling you, but I'm telling me too. So if you have a vision, what I'm saying, you talk to God and allow Him to mold and shape it and go forth, man. And I'm telling you, if He's in it, it's impossible. I repeat, impossible for you to fail. Impossible. Not possible at all. So with that being said, man, I thank you guys again for taking a moment out of your busy day to come on and check us out. And I'll see you guys next week, man, and we'll do this all over again. Love y'all. Thanks.